Well, it's the best thing in the world because I found out that SIGGRAPH not only knows who we are, but the Silicon Valley local SIGGRAPH YouTube channel, which is the highest level of achievement in computer graphics. Let me see if I can find it because it's here somewhere. Yeah. So if you go here and you look at what they feature, it's so important that when you're doing professional work, you target the people at the top because people at the top, they don't care about how many views you have on your YouTube videos. They care about innovation. It's not a popularity contest. They care about innovation, they care about technology. And when you are excellent, they will acknowledge that. So it was a really interesting and very exciting thing to see our video. Here's our video right here, featured on the official SIGGRAPH YouTube channel. And not only did they feature one of our videos, they featured another one, two of our videos. So this is the video where I was introducing what religion VFX would be like. And in this video, I didn't even show religion in use. I just showed what the UI and the UX looked like. And then in this video, I actually did some religion work in real time. I built an entire scene from scratch. And that's the kind of stuff that SIGGRAPH likes. SIGGRAPH, they don't care about hype. They don't care about, false promises. They like deep technical breakdowns of your work. And if you can show that, they'll take you seriously. So for those of you who don't know what SIGGRAPH is, this is the highest level of achievement in computer graphics. This is where all of the major players go to present their work. And to see that SIGGRAPH has noticed us, not only noticed us, but they have featured two of our videos on their playlist. That is wonderful because that tells you that we're not just some cute little software that nobody takes seriously. We're being taken seriously at the Oscars level, at the Emmys level. These are the people that you go to when you want to write a paper that changes the industry. Okay, most of what you see done in computer graphics, it starts at SIGGRAPH. So a lot of what drives the industry, people go to SIGGRAPH, they present there, and everybody else pretty much follows. So it's super, super important that they featured us. It's a very, very big deal. And I'm so glad. So this is super awesome. And it was basically what I was hoping would happen. And everything that I was hoping would happen is happening. And so now we're trying to get with MovieLabs. Now that we have SIGGRAPH noticing us, we're going to continue making great content and showing more features. And by the grace of God, this year we're going to present at SIGGRAPH at the Los Angeles Convention Center. And we're doing our best to link up with MovieLabs. And if you don't know what MovieLabs is, then just Google them. MovieLabs is basically this incredible company made by all the major studios in Hollywood basically came together and they were like, hey, let's make a company that works with software companies. Let's collaborate with software companies and startups so that we can basically help them make software for the future of film production. So that's what MovieLabs is. So when you see me making our presentation, I made my 10-minute presentation for MovieLabs, solving Principle 10. When you see that, if you've never heard of MovieLabs, because they're very low key, that's the thing, like people at the very top, they're not really flashy. They're not in your face. As you can see, they only have 380 subscribers. You would think that people who are at the very top, like this company is owned by Walt Disney. And the people that are like the founders of this company, they're people like the Disney people. These are the Walt Disney guys. These are the Universal Studio people. These are, people at Adobe, and so you would think that because this company is run and founded by very powerful people at the top of Hollywood, it would have like 900 billion subscribers, but no. And look at their views. Their views are very modest. They have modest views. Okay. Uh, most YouTubers get more views than this, but this is how it looks like when you're working with people at the very top. People at the very top, they don't care about your subscriber views or your subscriber count or your how many views you have on your videos. These are the people that actually make things happen. These are the guys at the very top of film production and innovation. Okay, so you have like you have CEOs at Adobe, and these are the guys at Autodesk. Like these guys are at all the major studios, basically came together and made a company called MovieLabs, and they are driving or trying to drive the future of innovation for film production. So anyone who has a company that aligns with their principles, you might want to check them out because these are the guys who are basically going to help you and work with you, and they'll talk about your product, and they'll get with you even to like discuss how to better your product so that it fits more with some of the principles that they are trying to promote. And there are 10 of them. So they have a 10-year goal, 10-year vision, which is the 2030 principle, 2030 vision, excuse me. And they have 10 principles for the 2030 vision. And your software doesn't have to solve all of them. Like your company doesn't have to solve all of them, but you can at least try to solve one really well. So uh, this is what we're working on. I'm going to the very top and I'm trying my best to align ourselves with what we know the industry needs. And real time software, which is Principle 10, is a very big deal. And Univah is already actually aligning itself to solve Principle 1 and 2, which is making sure that Univah can be installed on virtual computers so that you no longer have to worry about having a very powerful computer and traveling with your powerful computer everywhere you go. You can always just install Univah onto a virtual computer on the cloud and use unlimited GPUs on the cloud to render your films real time. And you create your assets. Your assets are immediately uploaded to the cloud, and the assets don't move, and the software goes to the cloud. So like these are the principles that MovieLabs really wants everyone to sort of be a part of and to align with. So and I believe in a lot of their principles. So I'm really excited to hopefully have a meeting with MovieLabs. That's the goal. I want to have a meeting with MovieLabs, and I want to talk to some of the founders there to see how we can work together to create a product that becomes the new industry standard in terms of 3D animation, film production, because we're already there. Univah is already positioned to be the industry standard, but we need to have some meetings and align with uh, we have to work together. We have to work together. So uh, right now, our company, we have a very closed proprietary system, which means we don't really believe in plugins. We don't believe that we should have a bunch of random people making plugins and add-ons for our software, because while that can be beneficial, um, it's also the reason why a lot of the legacy DCCs are so bloated today. Because when you let just anybody uh, contribute to your software, when you have an open sourced kind of system where anyone can make whatever and plug it into your software, it becomes bloated very quickly. So to avoid that bloat, we make everything ourselves. We believe in keeping all the production in-house, and everyone gets the same power. So there's no this person has this plugin, that person doesn't have that plugin, so therefore the one that has this plugin has more power. We don't believe in that. We believe in giving everyone the exact same amount of power. Everyone starts off on the same playing field. We're leveling the playing field. We are democratizing power, and we're making sure that this software can run on even a very old PC, very old GPUs like the GTX 1050 runs Univah perfectly. So by making sure that something this powerful installs at under 1 gig, okay, compared to Unreal Engine, which can be 100 gigs plus. So you want to install Unreal Engine, be prepared to install at least 90 gigs worth of stuff, right? Whereas Univah Pro installs in under 1 gigabyte. Univah Pro is under 600 megabytes. That is significantly smaller than Unreal Engine in terms of bloat. So it's not bloated at all. We have made a very lean, clean system that is very fast. So that means you're not going to be spending a bunch of time installing stuff. We don't want you doing that. We don't want you spending a bunch of time hunting around the internet for plugins to make the software more powerful. We believe it should come powerful out of the box. We don't believe in letting just anybody contribute to making plugins and add-ons to our system. We believe if something is a necessity, if it's a necessary feature that our consumers are asking for, we should build that in-house because we know the tool better than anybody. And that's how we maintain the cleanliness of the software and keep it and to prevent it from becoming bloated over time, which happens to every software. Okay. I mean, look at SketchUp today. SketchUp was at one point very clean. Now it's bloated because you have 900 million different plugins. Why? Why? For what? So when you let just anybody contribute, it's inevitable. Your system will be bloated. You're going to have a bloated system and it's going to be a mess. So to prevent that, we have to learn how to say no. We don't need to add every single feature to Univah. We only need to add what's necessary for you to create excellent films quickly. So being able to say no is important. And having a closed proprietary system, I believe that is important. I don't believe in open source, not for this. Other things can be open source, but not this. We're not doing this open. We're not opening this up. Okay. So these are the kinds of principles that we know might be a little shocking to the industry because the industry is so plugin driven. Yeah, you have so many plugins for Maya, so many plugins for Unreal Engine, so many plugins for Blender, so many it's so fragmented. So our way is so opposite from what the industry is used to, but it's better. And we really believe that this is the way to go. Okay. So let's take back the power of creating the features ourselves instead of letting the random GitHub developer make a plugin for Univah. And then now, because there's so many different add-ons and plugins, uh, every time you make an update to Univah, you don't know what's going to break. You don't know which plugin is going to break. And then here's the thing. These plugins and add-ons, they're not free. They're not always free, are they? So now you have to manage 10 different licenses for each plugin you bought. And some of the plugins you don't know if it's a one-time payment. You don't know if it's a monthly payment or if it's whatever. But you have to manage all these different licenses for this plugin and that plugin and this plugin and that renewal. This plugin has to be renewed. That one, this plugin, that plugin. And so all this stuff that you have to manage. Okay. And then what happens when you're a lone wolf developer? Because that's usually the case. Most of these plugins are lone wolf developers. So what happens when your plugin, which you love so much, gets discontinued because the person who made the plugin no longer wants to do it? They don't want to do it anymore. Okay. So you have to think about that. So it's so much safer when the company that created the tool makes the plugins themselves. And instead of making it a plugin, it's just a feature that comes already as a native feature in the software. It's not a plugin you have to plug in. We believe in providing every every necessary feature as a native feature in the software. Okay, and this might sound scary to companies that are used to uh, using plugins as a major way to make money. But there are so many other ways that you can make money as a company without having to rely on selling plugins. Okay, you just have to be creative. There are so many ways to make money. Having a really beautiful asset store, a content store, is one of the most effective ways to make your money as a software company. So we don't have to rely on plugins and selling plugins and add-ons to make money. We can have a really amazing content store, the Univah Content Store, the Univah Asset Store, the official Univah Asset Store, where we have artists from all over the world selling their content, Univah exclusive content in our asset store. They get a percentage, we get a percentage. Univah, our artists from all over the world selling, textures, selling huge maps. So if you've developed a huge map, uh, you know, 10-kilometer map for Univah, exclusively for Univah, you upload that to the content store, the exclusive Univah content store, and it will be only in our content store. So it won't be something someone can just download and use in Unreal. It will be a Univah exclusive map that only people that have Univah can use. And so now that brings people to Univah because Univah has exclusive content that nobody else has. Just like similar, PlayStation has games that are just for PlayStation. So that makes people want to buy the PlayStation as opposed to the Xbox, right? So same thing. Univah has a content store. We create incredible content. That's the key. Just make exceptional content that nobody else has and make it exclusive to Univah, and people will come. People will come and they will buy that content and they will use it for Univah, and it's going to be Univah exclusive. You're going to know that, oh, wow, that's Univah because only Univah has those files, right? So exclusivity is sexy. Don't underestimate the power of exclusivity. So there's a lot of ways to make money. I don't know why people are so scared of having a closed proprietary system. You don't need plugins to make money. Okay. So we're not relying on selling people plugins. We believe that we should provide everyone with the same power out of the box. We believe that Univah should come as powerful as humanly possible out of the box. And our goal is to keep it under 1 gig. We're going to sell you a complete software that's more powerful than anything you've ever used for rendering, and it's going to be under 1 gigabyte. Okay. The only thing that's going to make it more than 1 gigabyte, the overall goal is to make sure we don't exceed 3 gigs. So if we can keep the whole of Univah Pro under 3 gigs, that's huge success. Okay. And the only reason it would ever exceed 1 gig is because of the library. So if we start adding a bunch of stuff in the library, we want to give you a whole library full of plants, and we want to give you a whole library full of cars, pre-made cars, so you can just drag and drop the cars from the library into the scene. If you want to give you a whole library, so the library full of a bunch of HDR maps, full of textures, PBR textures. Well, those files, they do add up. So if we start giving you, and these are the kinds of things that we talk to our community about. So when we start creating a Univah community, we can ask you these questions, and we listen to the community. Hey guys, right now Univah comes as a less than 1 gigabyte install. We can add a library that has a bunch of trees, a bunch of cars, a bunch of HDRI maps, a bunch of PBR textures, um, but that's going to increase the install size. Do you guys want that? We're trying to keep it under 1 gig. We can go as far as 3 gigs, but we don't want to go. We don't want to start getting to where the software takes 900 years to install because it's so large. So we want to keep everything very light, under 1 gig, under 3 gigs maximum, no more than 3 gigs. That's the hard line. We don't want to cross that. Okay, so If our users tell us, yes, we want a library full of trees, full of cars, full of bicycles, 3D people, pre-animated 3D walking people, that you can just drag and drop and you have animated people in the scene. Sure, that's great for architecture visualization, So we can definitely do that. That's not a problem. But we need, when we ask questions, when we ask people what they want, just tell us. Okay, because at the end of the day, we're not building this tool just for us. It's not an in-house tool. It's for the community. We're building it for people. It's meant to be commercially consumed. So we need to build a commercial product that solves problems. So when we ask you what you want, please tell us, because we're building this thing for you, for you, the CG creator. Okay. um, we just want you to be able to make your films faster. That's all. Okay, so everybody wins. All right. So, yes, so happy, super excited about this. Super, super excited about MovieLabs, and very, very excited about SIGGRAPH noticing us and basically like featuring us on their official YouTube channel. So that's really, really awesome. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, just leave them. If you would like to try the Univah Film Engine, let us know. We will provide you with a 30-day free license, but you have to contact us, because if you don't, then you're just going to basically be buying Univah, and you can purchase it for $27 a month, and that's perfectly fine. But if you would like to try it before purchasing it, you have to contact us so we can create a license for you for 30 days. And then after that, then if you want to continue, then you have to pay. Okay? Alrighty. Bye-bye.